Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for coming to this session. As we were just introduced, an exciting time to talk about a very specific ASU partnership with International Baccalaureate today and what they're doing to really future-face education here in India. And so with me today are Mahesh Balakranam from International Baccalaureate, Linu Singh from the Genesis Global School, and Scott Weatherford, from Arizona State University, and he can also go by Tom if you'd like to say hi. My name is Dan Bursch. I'm with Emeritus, and we're happy that you are all here. So, as introduced, we want to really take some time on this panel to understand how critical partnerships advance education from an organizational perspective, an institutional perspective, and most importantly, from a student perspective and what that outcomes become. So I want to start with Scott. And Scott, as we think about this partnership with IB, how do you see the collaboration and what ASU brings to this partnership that really addresses the needs of an evolving global education system?
I think the reason why we were so excited to partner with IB and what we bring to the table. So first and foremost, when looking for, I also want to say, if some of you saw me on an earlier panel, I apologize. There's going to be some overlap here, but I'm going to make some connections. So we talked a lot on earlier earlier panel about how important our partnerships are, and partnerships that can help contextualize for a university like ASU looking to expand its scale and reach out to learners across the globe. A local partner, a partner like IB that shares the kind of same educational philosophy that ASU does. So a commitment to critical thinking, a commitment to global literacy. Those are things that we care deeply about. And they have the local context and the local knowledge to then partner with us and help us bring our learning offerings to their students in a way that we can't. And if we tried, we would lack that local context. So what we bring to the table, though, from IB's perspective, hopefully, is to use a term from that earlier panel, we bring some things that are plug and play. We bring some things that enable schools to not have to invest a lot of time or money or energy and use our courses, these universal learner courses, and those are our open access at scale courses available to anyone around the world, but you can get college credit by completing the course and then paying. So what we do is we partner with high schools so that they can bring those courses to their students. And the benefit for the high schools is you now have this rigorous curriculum. It's from an R1 institution that people around the globe know. That credit is highly transferable across the United States. And I think you're going to hear from IB and the school's perspective and the parents' perspective as well, what that has meant to those students and families.
Fantastic. So as we think about Mahesh, IB has always been innovative, always doing future-forward and future-facing things with their students. Talk a bit, as you worked with ASU on this collaboration, the IB perspective and what you see this doing for your students.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Scott, for your thoughts. Glad to be here, everyone. IB is probably the only board, as we call it in India, which has this kind of a curriculum which talks and addresses skills of the future, future of jobs, and I think no better than ASU to have that shared vision of addressing critical thinking, problem solving, and much more, which an IB education does provide. But also, schools lead into universities, and universities then feed into the workplace. That's how usually it works. And the courses which ASU, IB through this collaboration provide are future ready and also helping these students get a flair for what they're going to face at a university education level. They're getting ready. And sometimes it would also help them to reduce costs significantly because these courses, these credits are transferable.
Fantastic. So as we've talked about partnerships a lot at this event, I often want to say, though, well, when the rubber meets the road, what's the outcome for the student? Because at the end of the day, as educators, we're focused on those student outcomes and that change for the students. So Linu, as someone who's implementing these programs at Genesis, talk about what that experience has been like and what you've seen thus far from students and a bit from parental reaction as well.
Okay, so, well, I will say that with Scott and with Mr. Mahesh also, I agree how they have thought about this collaboration will go. It's, I think, far beyond than that. The response we are getting from the parents, from the students is absolutely amazing. See, as Mahesh sir said that, IB is more about when we are developing their skills. It's not only the academic part. They are holistically being developed. I think partnership with ASU has given that edge to us as a school. Somewhere I'll say shortcoming on our behalf as a school that our students in being self-management skills or either somewhere in the critical analysis, the thinking skills, they go a bit low. But when they have started working with the ASU programs, our registered students, it's much more than what we expected also. So they are engaged into the academic part on their own. They don't need any push from the teachers. They don't have a teacher, by the way, in that sense that it's a self-paced program where they're working. Of course, they have subjects in the school, so they are getting the teachers' support and the interactions, but over here is just the support lessons, which they hardly require at times. So I think the implementation, which we thought would have been like they will only get the edge in the form of curriculum or implementation part, they will get an edge in the industry level introduction, that is beyond that. So that, of course, they are getting it, a flair of what you said for the industry, but beyond that also, they are highly engaged themselves, they know when to do, what to do, they have started realizing. See, when a student started realizing that metacognition comes into picture, and they start realizing that how much efforts I have to put in, how much critically I should give the feedback to the other peers. That's brilliant. That's what is independent learners we are looking for. So I think IB's vision is being accomplished in our school with the help of ASU program. So we wish, of course, we'll be learning a lot from your programs and we'll be bringing in some in our school also, the strategies, like where are we making mistake that every student of ours is not having this skill at this level in the school itself. We can call it as professionalism they have achieved, right? They know what they're doing, to what level they're doing.
I absolutely love that. We create the academic experience along with the
Yes.
life skills and the professional skills. That's a really winning combination. Scott, so the audience has a better understanding of what this is. Could you talk a bit about the Universal Learner courses, as well as some of the career mastery certificates and foundation certs, so we get an idea of what we're applying to students at this level?
So one way to think about these courses is a MOOC like 5.0 or 6.0 that does lead to an actual transcriptable course credit from ASU. And the transcript, it's a regular ASU transcript. It's the same one that you get on campus or through our regular admitted program online. So that's really valuable to learners, especially in the States. We don't make it easy for students to transfer credits from one institution to another. So again, having that credit from ASU means a lot to our students in the United States. And what we're hearing is from around the world as well. So that recognizable name brand for the credit really helps. So they're asynchronous, they're online. And then what we love about partnering with partners like IB and with schools like Genesis is they're designed so that an individual can do this course completely on their own. But in the high school space, what we love is when we have high school partners that provide wraparound supports, that provide some of that executive functioning skills that a student might need. All the things, I love you referred to them as your munchkins earlier, right? Your students. Those high school students need that extra support and extra love sometimes, but in the end, they still have to turn in all the same work. It's graded by our faculty. When I'm talking to the faculty about the course and they say, oh, but there's so many high school students, maybe I need to do it differently. I'm like, no. This needs to be a rigorous college course. The students will rise to the level and be able to succeed in the class. But along those lines, one of the things that makes Universal Learner courses really different is that you don't transcript the course as the learner, as the student, unless you pass and you like your grade. So because of that, one of the things that a lot of high schools tell us is that low-risk nature of the courses and the program enables them to open up the access to students and families that might otherwise not want to try it. I don't want to get an F. I don't want to get a withdrawal. I don't want to have to pay for the course. Well, the high schools are usually paying for the course. If you're paying out of pocket as a family, you're paying at the end only when you have passed the course. And you don't have to worry about if it doesn't go well the first time. You can actually retake it. I mean, that's kind of the model that we do with Universal Learner courses is keep taking it until you pass. We want you to learn it, right? It's not the model of you failed it once, you're done, you can't be a doctor anymore because you failed bio. Nope, take bio until you pass and then build that confidence and build the skills that you need to learn how to be successful in those courses and then keep going. On the pathway side and the certificate side, again, one of the reasons we love the IB program is the career program. Specifically, we work with high schools to create pathways. And that's a real emphasis that we're trying to place with high schools around the world that we work with. There's a phrase we use in the United States. It's called no more acts of random dual enrollment. Dual enrollment is when high school students take college courses. And what we mean by that is let's stop having kids just take random college courses, whatever available. But let's be really intentional, build a pathway for them. And we have a number of certificates, including things like Google IT, Amazon Cloud, where you're getting college credit. You're also getting a certificate that is either sometimes generated by ASU or generated by ASU and the organization. So Google IT, Amazon Cloud, if you pass the test, et cetera. We're building several more of those too across the upcoming year. So we have them in health, have one in business, engineering. We're going to roll one out in cybersecurity, and then sustainability as well over the course of the next year or so. But those are our hope is that those certificates in the high school space provide a return on investment for the students and the families right off the bat. So one of the things that can be hard to convince a high school student of is you're going to start taking these college courses and then 4 years down the road you're going to have a return on investment, right? Their brains don't work that way, right? So knowing that, hey, I'm going to finish high school and I'm already going to have a certificate that hopefully is going to provide a wage increase, and then I can keep going. Maybe I didn't even see myself as a college student, but now because it was low risk, I tried it. I had success. Now I have a certificate. Now I'm earning a little bit more money. It's easier for me to pay to continue to my degree, and now I see myself as a college student as well. That's the exciting part from our point of view.
That's really great insight. Mahesh, I'd love to build off of that with you. And from a pedagogical standpoint and philosophical standpoint of what Scott walked us through, how does that align with what IB is trying to do with its students?
Thank you. But before that, I will take up one point which you had asked Lino, is we have a lot of parental support for the IBCP. We have over 40 schools across India. They are in big towns, they're in small towns like Boisar, which is one of the main industrial hubs of Maharashtra, just to give you a perspective. And in terms of pedagogical alignment and the changes, this program also supports credentials, certification, and micro-credentials. A student at grade 12 would get a minimum of 2 or 3 certificates, which are useful for higher education as well as for industry use. They are ready for the future, okay? A student after grade 12 in India can take a break, go and work somewhere, and then go on to a pathway of higher education if they want. In terms of pedagogical alignment also, while what ASU is doing, what you do with the DP courses, you also have a lot of embedding in the local communities through the service learning, the language and the cultural engagement, and so on, so forth. Problem-solving skills, ATL, cognitive thinking, even working in teams, multicultural aspects, all align with what ASU stands for and what IB is known for.
That's fantastic. So we know that when we launch new initiatives at any level and any industry, it's not all rainbows and unicorns and everything's perfect from day one. There's challenges. So at the school level at the start, Linu, what are some of the challenges that you've encountered specifically for the students in this new environment, and then how has the school helped to motivate, push, and surpass and get past those challenges?
I think the bigger challenge when we started and introduced this program of career, related program, CP of IB, DP was already running from lot many years. So the parents were already used to, because some of our student siblings have already passed from us, from the DP. So what is now CP, and how can the other organizations can help a child which a school cannot? So that was a bigger question which we have to answer, and why the teachers over here if we say they'll giving you a better edge, they'll provide you better clarity, the industry level standards and all that, then the question was that, are the school teachers not capable of so? So is DP not providing the same? So because DP also was at stake at this moment, that how do you introduce CP? That's a parallel program. So, but we have to bring it to first, the clarity is that CP is offering something very different. A child who is very clear with the objective, what I want to do in future. They have their passion and they want to follow it. They are the right ones for it. I have one student, currently with ASU only. The sibling of this child was entering 11th grade, and they were thinking the child should go for DP or CP, but this student was already in DP 1 year down the line. Trust me, when we introduced CP, this boy also came back and said, I want to do CP, and with the ASU. I said, you're already done with DP, how can you now move on to your 1 year will go? Finally, parents and the child took a call. He dropped 1 year. He's currently with ASU. He's enjoying to the fullest. What we were struggling with the child at the grade 11, the DP program, now that has been overcome. Again, the engagement of the program is high. Might be the passion has been recovered there by the child. They know what they want to do. So they are highly engaged. The child was struggling with procrastination earlier. Submissions were nightmares for teachers to get them back. Now we don't even know any time they have missed their submission. So there, it's not only, like I was telling you, it's not only in one perspective that we say that the program is helping them grow. They're making them more professionals. They're making them more self-driven. Might be the engagement is high. Another challenge, though we came up, was the arrangement of the school system with the ASU program or other school, universities program. We had to give this leverage to our students if they're having, might be the meetings at night, might be support lessons at night at times. We do provide this flexibility to them, in school, that your timing of the coming could be later, might be some assignments or either the school DP courses which they take up, might be there, we can provide you some relaxability, or we don't have a clash there with their submissions and your submissions. So this, I think, as a school, we have to consider, because otherwise the child will crunch under the pressure of both the organizations. So somewhere we are also taking care, but they are growing at a very fast speed. I can say very mature they have been now. The response and the happiness is when they speak about these programs and they reflect to us or to their peers, it's very positive. They are happy about what they're doing, what they're exploring. They're happy that in their class, they're not only exploring the ideas about the local concerns, because the batches now from the whole over the world, they're exploring the global ideas on its own. So it's not only the local, the global, and that's what IB wants, right? So they are working on the global context on their own. It was, I think, need also of the time. Few years back, I think 2006 or somewhere around, Wipro brought up 2011 somewhere, Wipro brought up one mission 10x, something like this, for the colleges, where they wanted the students to, first they trained the professors over there in India, that they wanted the students who are coming out from these colleges, of engineering colleges, they should be of the standard of industry. They should know the professionalism should be there. They should also understand what are the working standards, might be the requirements what industry is expecting. I think down the line, it should come down to school, which IB has thought about it, because it's been long time since then. And we're on the right pitch where our students, as you said, they're getting ready for the industries from now onward. They know what is practical implementation of the knowledge, what they're requiring at this level. So challenges will come. I think now also they're coming up at times when they have to collaborate with their DP students. There also we face some challenges. But I think the outcome is too good that we have to support them. So school is changing the policies to support these students anyhow. And I think every school should do it if we want these kind of programs, because students alone cannot do it and parents alone won't be able to support them in this. They're taking a good leap, I will say. I think we should support them there.
I love what you just said there, because that's the essence of a partnership. as we see the parties coming together to bring the positive outcome to the students. Let's build off this a little bit further, though, as we think about the opportunity. Mahesh, talk about scalability. And with IB schools around the world, how are we going to overcome the scalability challenge with different cultures and sensitivities, region to region, country by country, to make this successful? What's your approach?
I think CP offers a great opportunity for scale on its own and in a partnership with ASU, where you have very good teachers and professors, because if you have been hearing over the last 2 days, one of the common theme which is emerging is lack of good teachers. So technology and a university, and that too a very large one with courses which are designed for the future and which sit very well with an IB kind of an education, make for a great mix. And today a lot of people are leveraging technology. Hybrid education is a reality. So I think we are at the right place at the right time and to address it at scale.
For those of us who heard ASU President Crow give his opening keynote, I think we all quickly learned that the idea of scale does not frighten him. And if we're not going to go big, we're not going to do it at ASU. So Scott, this program, this initiative, talk about your ambition and where you see for ASU, how big can we grow this? How many students can you impact?
Yeah, well, it probably depends on which part of my team I'm talking to, with the number I give, who I'm going to freak out. You know, the great part about the way that we're setting it up is that it can scale and it can expand to enable us to work with Emeritus to bring these courses to more high school students, to work with launching a partnership with ACT to bring these courses to ACT takers, starting in Arizona, but hopefully around the world down the road. You know, because of the flexibility of the way it's set up, we can work with a micro school, which is they're launching all across the United States and around the world. And those are like, they kind of came out of COVID and people doing the schools, the really small schools on their own. There might be 6 students and it's called a school and we can work with them. And we can work with an entire district that's interested in having all the way up to an AA, what we call an early college or middle college model, 60 credits in the high school space. So there's a wide variety that we can work with, and it's because these courses are set up to run asynchronously, and I just need to know how many students are going to be in them so that we can hire up enough staff and enough folks to grade them. We had a incident where one of the people we work with on the YouTube side, I don't know if you're familiar with Crash Course, but we work with Crash Course and Hank Green to create some courses through a program called Study Hall. And he's real big online, especially on TikTok. And he'd been kind of calling out some of our courses for a while, and we would get little bumps. And then for some reason, he did a TikTok on our programming course. And from Friday to Monday, it jumped 4,000 enrollments. So those are, you know, in India, they're not huge numbers. In an academic space, especially when it's credited, Friday to Monday, the folks on Monday were a little bit freaked out when I told them, but we figured it out because we had built the capacity to handle that, and we had the systems in place. We said, great. The course started a few days later, and we were able to run with it. I think that the flexibility is key for us being able to scale too, because the needs in India for IB are not going to be the same as IB in Thailand, IB in the United States. And they're not the same as when we work with the Archdiocese of Los Angeles schools and their building pathways. They're all a little bit different, but they can take that core and then wrap things around it that makes sense for their context and the needs of their learners.
That's fantastic. So in our last few minutes, let's come back to, you know, all eyes on India and the theme of the conference, and really focus in here on what's happening in country. So Mahesh, could you talk a bit about the really popular courses? Like, what are the students leaning into here in country?
Thank you for that great question. Not surprisingly, AI remains the most popular IBCP course. Along with business administration, there's a lot of interest from our students for sports management. Then we have a lot of interest in sustainability and design. And with ASU, I would see some of our students also looking at IT project management and data security, cyber security would be courses of interest to schools and students across in India and in South Asia.
A phrase I've heard in my time in country this week a few times is how there are these islands of prosperity across the country. And what I love about this partnership is how do we get more people onto those islands, or more importantly, create more and more islands in this growing economy. From what you're seeing initially, Linu, talk about this impact that you see 5, 10, 15 years from now with the students at Genesis.
Well, let me give you, when my students were registered for it, I and one of our CP coordinators, Mr. Sylvester, was there. So trust me, after a few days, he also has his kids approaching the senior school. Mine one is still in the middle school, but we were thinking about, yeah, the CP is the best for, my child. Imagine that is impact in next 5 to 10 years. Because I understand, earlier parents in India, they had very specific needs. They know this is a, route map for this particular engineering might be, doctorate might be. Now they are open. They value what is the child skill, they do support, and I can give you an example, like I told you, that they even went for the 1 year drop for the child. They agreed to it. They value now what the child wants and where they want to proceed with it. I think that's the best thing. 5 year or 10 year down the line, I think more of students will be understanding it. My current DP students have already given us a proposal, like the CP students are having their internships and their self-paced programs. Please do introduce that for us in the DP. So you can understand that the DP students are also feeling up that need now, that the engagement of the program should go to more, though DP itself is implementation based compared to the national programs we have in India, but still they are valuing this more engagement now. I think parents also will be. It wasn't very difficult, the first batch we had, and it was good turnout, around 11 to 13 at that moment. Now it's growing up. This year, so many parents have already started approaching us for the students who are passing out from MYP 5. So year by year, it's going good because the response is very good. Trust me. So I think it's a good shift that is coming up. What we're expecting is the child should follow their passion. Then only they are more engaged. We don't have to push them, neither the schools, neither the parents. That's the right move. By the time they reach their high schools and all, they're mature enough now because they have the exposure. So they are mature enough, they can decide on, this is what I want. And if you provide such kind of platforms to them, what ASU is providing, they get what they actually want. They explore it on their own. Nothing is needed beyond this. What is beyond this? Any parent or a teacher is needing that, you don't have to tell the child, study. That's the statement answers it, that you have done it. You have nailed it out there itself, yeah?
I love that. In the last minute or so, Mahesh, your thoughts as well on how you see this in the next 5, 10 years and the impact.
So I think IBCP, especially in a country like India, will become our #1 program. I am confident. I look at it as my baby, getting the equivalence for it and all. Also, parents, when they talk to us, of course, when they start that conversation, they still ask about JE, they still ask about NEET, but then they also see the value, what a partnership with ASU brings, what other courses are on offer, and whether students can study both in India and overseas and the best of the universities.
Scott?
Yeah, I think what we need to do at the university level is be able to create these pathways quicker with the same rigor and be able to revise them and generate, to be able to listen to what our communities and our schools and our parents are saying and our industry partners. This is what's needed, this is what's coming. At the Economic Forum last year, their report said I think it was 25% of all jobs will change drastically in the next 5 years. So when we're talking about what pathways we want, in 5 years, we might need either all new pathways or all new versions of the current pathways. And so on the university side, we're not always known for being able to pivot quickly. ASU luckily has that kind of mentality. But even at ASU, just installing that in our faculty and our teams, we have to constantly be revising so that these courses really are meeting the needs of the learners and preparing them for the workforce and for college at the same time. That's the key, the stackability. Workforce and college at the same time, and getting that jump start in high school is what's so exciting about that.
As we wrap this up, I just want to commend all of the parties who are a part of this panel for this visionary partnership that is truly showing impact in a both short-term and a long-term nature. So thank you to everybody. Our time is up. I hope you enjoyed the panel on this fabulous partnership with ASU and IB.